Alright, looks like we're live. Hey there! Welcome back! If you're, picking up from last time, we're playing Dead Rising 2. Just doing the whole game through at, level 50. If you're just checking us out for the first time, hey there, welcome. This is where we are in the game. Case 3-1. And with that said, let's just get started. So, let's see what we got here. Because it's been a couple of days since the last stream. There's only a couple of things right now. We gotta wait for the next case file at 10, which is in like 3 hours from now. And there's also a person who is going to need some Zombrex that I don't really feel like giving up to. So he's just going to die a miserable and lonely death. In the meantime, I guess we could just putz around for a little bit, since I got 3 hours in game. Not 100% sure what to do, though. Because 3 hours is a little bit of an awkward time between having enough time to putz around and not having enough time to get a whole lot done. Oh, okay, we're gonna get introduced to the queen bees. So just like in the previous game, zombies will sometimes be reaching for like these bees or whatever that are kind of lashed onto the back of their necks. If we get like this one here, we can just take this queen bee and throw it down and everything dies. I mean, yeah, if you played the first game, this isn't much of a surprise. I think in later portions of the game, there's like larvae that come out of the zombies or something, and they can kind of do a little bit of hit stun, but I don't think they do any damage. Oops. Let's see. I don't think there's anything that I really need to get done, so I'm kind of just meandering at this point. I guess maybe I can show off some of the goofy stuff while I got a little bit of time. So, like, besides something obvious like this dice, let's see what number we get. Ah, we got a 3. Let's try this one. And we got a 4. I don't think it's actually for gambling. It's just something kind of goofy. Let's see. I guess there's like the roll cage thing I kind of want to show off, because there's always a bunch of goofy stuff I always just kind of ignore. And I might as well use this opportunity to kind of just do some of that stuff. Oh, and while I'm here, I might as well get all dressed and dapper, because there's going to be a case file, or not a case file, but there's I guess, a kind of sort of psychopath. It's a little hard to explain. But it requires us to look all nice and fancy. And that comes up a little later. So that way we don't really have to worry about that. I'm probably just doing this way ahead of time. So yeah, there's like this roll cage thing here. I've never really putzed around with this. You have to pay to use it. It's just a minigame one.
Yes.
There's like another one. I think it might be in the maintenance tunnels, where you can actually like get inside and roll around. Unfortunately, that's not it. Let's see. I guess there's some other things I could showcase here because I think they're gonna show up on this in-game day. There's some fairly pesky psychopaths that show up. They're like these sniper guys or something. And there's gonna be one that shows up here. So I'm just gonna show this area right here, because he'll be there later. There's also another one, I think, on top of this building. And you can get to it... Oh, hey, why don't we check a movie? We can get to it through some ladders. You can pick them off from a distance, that takes forever. Ah, man, back when Capcom gave a little bit more care towards Mega Man. I shouldn't say that. Mega Man 11 is happening now. I guess I'm just so used to being kind of embittered by that whole situation. Let's see. I think there's also some platforming we can do up here. Using another one of these snack vending machines. Ah, here we are. I think I already got that for Katie. Nothing but a box of nails. There's also an LMG here. I don't know if I'm going to be using this, but I'll take it anyway. Let's see. Oh, a flashlight and gems. Oh, we can use this. It's a combo weapon I don't think I've made since I played the PC version a really long time ago. And there's also a magazine up here. Let's see, what does this one do? Get 25% boost of player points when defeating psychos. Well, I'm level 50, so that's kind of pointless. But if you were playing this game for the first time and you didn't know about that, there you go. That might help you out. Let's try crafting these two things. We get a lightsaber out of it. I don't know how this works, but it's pretty cool. It's even purple, my favorite color. And it's proven wildly ineffective. These swings are just ridiculous. Yeah, it's kind of unwieldy. Just a little unwieldy. It's not nearly as reliable as like the other weapons I tend to use all the time. Oh, the lightsaber changes color every time I bring it out. That's cool. Let's see, what have we got on the clock? 8:30. Ah, we're still a little too early. Oh, there's another queen. I'll just rack up some kills. Just for these. Oh, I don't think I ever talked to this guy here. So he's one of the looters, but he owns a pawn shop. These are actually kind of important. In case you can't find Zombrex, these pawn shops will always carry some, but every single one you buy will cost more. So right now this one's $25,000. Then if I buy this, the next one will cost more, for example. There's also some other things like Arthur's Boots, which I'm assuming is a reference to Ghosts and Goblins. But I do not have $2 million, nor do I know how to get $2 million. There's probably a way. There's also some combination weapons. I don't think these are worth buying ever. But I will buy some Zombrex, just to be safe.
Now that's a
The camera doesn't really move. So, like, now it's gonna cost twice as much. We've also got our trike again. Make Making my way downtown. Yeah, like, I guess you can make the money through gambling, but you'd have to spend so much time gambling and not enough time getting anything else really done. And I'm not really much of a gambler, despite this one being my favorite Dead Rising. I just don't really care for gambling at all. Oh, there's another queen. Just some easy kills. As I ride away while everyone dies around me. There's another one. Wow, they're really common right now. Oh no, I smashed my trike. Oh, that sucks. I was on my way to get something anyway. Actually, I don't know if I can get it because I completely just didn't come across a psychopath. There's the, there's that one guy at the beginning of the game who taunts Chuck over the loss of his life. Like his rival during Terror's reality. And normally you'd have to fight him. Oh, speak of the devil, here he is. I'm not used to him showing up here, though.
Oh, well, looky here, if it ain't little Chucky Queen. Didn't get enough of me yet? Come back for my autograph?
Oh god, his hair looks so bad.
Oh, I bet you just get rock hard thinking about me at night, don't you, Chucky? You come to throw your panties at me?
Whatever, buddy. Look, I can take you to the bunker where it's safe.
Bunker? Where it's safe? Man, you are a pussy, aren't you? I used to follow you when you did motocross. But look at you now. You're a broken man. You just don't got it anymore, do you?
What's your problem?
Are you such a chump, Chuck? Hey! Over here! I'll race you for him.
What are you doing? That wasn't a zombie.
Yeah, no shit, Chuck. Twice the points. Harder to hit because they move around so much. Bastards.
You're crazy. This isn't a game.
You're right about that. That was just practice. Now, it's a game. Terror is reality, baby, for real. Live in Fortune City. I've always wanted to take you down, chump. But you need some wheels, Chucky. Don't keep me waiting.
Alright, well, thanks for giving me a vehicle. So, this doesn't have, like, the chainsaws on it, so it's kind of pointless. So what are we doing for time here? I got, like, an hour.
Let's go.
So now we can use this bike whenever we want. We are supposed to take him down, though. But usually, you fight him on the first day, not the second day. And I also find it kind of odd that he thinks that I'm a chump because I want people to be safe and get back to the safe room. I'm trying to help you. Nah, man, you're just a pussy. Like, that's ridiculous. But whatever. So he's kind of like... He honestly reminds me a bit of the convicts in the first game, in that he's not the greatest driver. He slams into a wall or something. He gets kind of stuck. Oh, shit. Cheese me all day long. He's kind of irritating. I don't really have the LMG. I kind of wish I did right about now. But sometimes you get caught on these palm trees, and then you can just kind of smack them for free. Stupid sliceable, the chainsaws on that. It's kind of hard not to get hit also. He could come around here and smack into a tree, that would be wonderful. Caught on and off Okay, so the defiler does basically to him. This is just the dumb brute force way to do it. He would stop being dumb himself. Just come over here and let me kill him finally. Like that. There we go. There we go. That's exactly what I was talking about.
Oh, you think it's that easy, Chuck? You think you're the man? You'll never beat me! Yeah, that's right. Quadruple points, Chucky. Let's see you top this! Yeah, you take that! On top! All the way to the end! But never forget, chump! I'm number one!
Yeah, you're on fire.
Yeah, there's nothing really sympathetic about him. He's just kind of nuts. I don't know why the zombies in here. But now we get access to 2 bikes. We can always get this one. We can always get that one on the other end by the arena. So now would probably be a really good time to head back to the safe room. And, kind of wait patiently for Boomtown to start the next major case. Yeah, these motorcycles are actually pretty fun. Like, they kind of kick off the ground there. Like, the front wheel comes up. And they, like, being able to drift around with them is pretty fun. There are, like, I was playing Dead Rising 1 the night before this. And, man, the vehicles control really poorly, but they last forever. As long as you don't drive into zombies that have those exploding canister things. In this game, the vehicles control much better. But they get destroyed a lot easier. Excuse me. Let's see, I could also use some health. And I know there's a little bit in the safe room, but not a whole lot. I know there's some fruit up here. Some delicious and nutritious pineapple, which I love to put on pizza. And a melon. Sometimes there's also stuff in garbage cans. But sometimes it's spoiled, and it just causes you to puke over and over again. I mean, you can eat it if you want, but I wouldn't advise it. But sometimes you'll find, like, stuff like vodka in trash cans. I'm not really sure why anyone would throw out a whole bottle of vodka. There we go. And of course, there's always this orange juice, which is like one of the best like standalone drinks in the game. Also, that reminds me, now that we've gotten the queen bees to show up, we can make the secret combo weapon. But I'll do that a little bit later. How are we doing for time? I've got 10 minutes, so this is perfect. Taking a look at all these good gifts for a good girl. She's kinda sorta not really asleep, she's kinda laying down there. But she's perfectly okay with Snowflake. Good kitty. See, we've got about 5 in-game minutes, so we might as well just stare at our watch for a little bit.
It was TK. He's the one who framed us.
TK?
Oh, hello again there,
Are
Swaghammer.
you sure?
Thanks for
He
joining.
admitted it to my face.
But that's not possible. Why would he let his own zombie supply loose? Sabotage his own show?
I saw him with my own eyes.
So you say.
Is that who your source is? TK?
Don't be ridiculous, Chuck.
Whoa, what was that?
It sounded like it came from outside. Looks like someone might be messing with the casino vaults. I can't tell who it is, though.
Then I'd better get out there and find out for myself.
I don't know if she's really brave or just really stupid.
Alright, so basically TK and his goons are trying to break into a bunch of the vaults around the city where they keep the money for the casinos. Because that's the only thing he's interested in is cash. He doesn't really care about anything else other than just being rich. As if he doesn't have enough money already. So we're just gonna go around being a sad murder dad and kill a bunch of actual human beings. Because, Dead Rising. Yeah. Sure.
What do you got?
Yeah, the three major casinos in the game. Thankfully, one is just over here. They go down in like one hit with like both of these weapons. I think you're expected to use guns, but they dodge roll when you shoot at them, and they're more of a hassle to hit than anything else. It's better just to tank them if you have a help. You can kind of see them in these. You can kind of see them. Smack me. Crap. I was just like doing a tag with the defiler, and I just kind of walk forward, like walk towards them while they shoot at me. Can't stop me. And if I'm rolling, they just can't shoot me while I'm in the middle of that entire animation. And then I just gotta destroy these things in the silliest way possible. Take a sip.
Yeah.
I think this case also unlocks like a shortcut when we're outside on the Silver Strip. So speaking of which, I just gotta head outside now, I think. Actually, I think we can get to the other one a little faster if I take the shortcut in the bathroom. Oh, I think it's in the men's washroom in this game. Or did I get this one yet? Oh no, I didn't rescue that survivor yet. There's a survivor on the second day who tells you about a shortcut from one of the major shopping areas to this one. But if you haven't rescued the survivor, then you technically won't know about it, and that's kind of a bummer. I wish that was something that carried across playthroughs. It's the same thing in Dead Rising 1. You gotta rescue this one guy to tell you the shortcut. It's, again, one of those things I wish it carried across playthroughs. Oh no, it's just this one. It's right here. I'm just being lazy. Okay. I don't really think we need the health. Let's just go and get this done. Actually preoccupied, so that just makes it easier to take care of. Yeah, if they shoot you while you're in midair, it'll stun you, or it won't let you shoot because it'll force the animation where you stumble when you get to the ground. Take care of the drills.
Any news?
There should be a pizza in here. I kind of miss, in the first game you could actually put pizza in the oven and it gives you more health. I don't think you can do that in this game though. There's like microwaves in the first game. If you put pizza in the microwave or whatever, it'll bake them golden brown, and that's missing in this one, unfortunately. But I think the frying pan thing is still in this one, where you put a frying pan on a stove top, and then you can squish it across a zombie's face, and they die. Doesn't really have a whole lot of use against these guys with guns, though. Come on, get up there, please. Please let me up there. Okay. Guess not. I really do like this moose head. I think it's also legitimately a little faster than running than 3, but I might be mistaken. I might just really like causing chaos with a moose head. I know, like, on the video or the stream, it's not going to be quite the same, but it's especially satisfying, I think, when you have the rumble in the controller. Like, again, I'm used to mostly playing this on PC, so I didn't get that rumble. So playing this version, I do get a rumble in my controller. But I always played it on a keyboard. I actually think keyboard and mouse works really well for Dead Rising. Especially for, like, shaking zombies off you. You can shake them off almost instantly. It was a little too easy. Is there still someone around here? Oh my goodness, there is still someone outside.
What's going on? You got anything?
Oh, well, I am streaming like 720, 60 frames, so I don't know. I hope that's not on my end. I can double check in a second. double check on my end, just on Twitch here. Make sure it's nothing too problematic. Got it up on my computer right now. It seems to be running fine, at least on my end. So maybe it is just like an ISP issue or something, or just like a bandwidth issue if you've got someone in your house like streaming or someone else using the internet. Another reason why I do these like in the afternoon, at least at my time, is mainly because there's other people who use the internet during the evening, especially for things like Netflix. So I like to do these in the afternoon when I have a lot of time all to myself on the internet. But when it comes to the internet, like, I'm particularly greedy in sharing bandwidth.
Damn it! What do I pay you people for? We're staying a bit longer than planned, boys.
Fantastic.
You've got a real knack for showing up at the right time, don't you? Have you covered wars or something?
Not until now.
No, har har.
Everybody has a first time, Chuck.
So, you believe me now. They're robbing the damn city. That's why they started this. For money. You sure got your story now.
Listen, I've got a meeting with my source tonight. I think maybe it's time you met.
I thought a professional journalist never gave up a source.
I think this is kind of a special case, Chuck. I'll meet you at 11 o'clock in the bar at the Yucatan.
It's a date.
Right, so the next major portion is quite a bit later in the day. So what do we got to do until then? We got some time to kill before then. So how do we kill that time? Oh yeah, so there's a shortcut's been opened up now. Well, maybe not now. Like, this truck again eventually gets moved, and then we can go through that hole. But I guess while we're here, we'll just kind of check out some of these other places around. Oh. Oh, God, no, not Slappy. Oh, crap. Alright, I guess we're gonna go fight Slappy. Oh, man. This is, like, probably my least favorite boss in the game. Next to the one military dude. Okay, the military dude is probably my least favorite overall. But, like, Slappy is a nuisance. A total nuisance. This one, I can't really use a defiler or knife gloves to take care of him really quickly. I don't really have much of a choice but to use a sniper rifle. It's like the safest way to do it. So the basic gist is that he's on roller skates, and he's got like 2 flamethrowers made out of water guns. So if you get anywhere close to him, you just end up taking a ton of damage. So you kind of have to cheese it with the sniper rifle. It's not exactly the fight with the end of Metal Gear Solid 3, they'll put it that way. Oh, I wonder if there are any bees around. This would be a perfect opportunity to... Oh, actually, no, I don't have orange juice. I don't think it's gonna work. Oh, hey, Kev. You still have all those screenshots? That was, like, ages ago. Yeah, I'm not really doing co-op, though. I'm just playing by my lonesome. Oh, come on. I was in the middle of an animation. Yeah, I think when we played Off the Record together, I can't even remember. I might have been... I'm sure I was in college at the time. That was quite a while ago. Feeling pretty old. So the one nice thing about this fight is that it's right next to, like a liquor store or a wine store, but you can't drink too much or else you get sick. Yeah, that was back in the Game of Windows Live days. But now that game's on Steamworks, so it's all good. Let's see, replace. I'll just take a couple of these for safe measure. Take some jelly beans too, because I could use that last pip. But I was saying this on the last stream, like, it's nice that they brought this and Off the Record to, like, games for Windows, but there's still a couple of games like Lost Planet, or sorry, to Steamworks from games for Windows, but it'd be nice if stuff like Lost Planet 1 and 2 were brought over as well. I'm still fairly disappointed that Lost Planet 2 is just dead on PC now, because I never got to play that online.
You're Chuck Green.
That's right. And you are...
Oh, you know me. I'm Slappy. Everyone knows Slappy. And everyone knows you. You started the outbreak. I saw it on TV.
No, buddy, it wasn't me. I'm being set up.
But it was on TV. Just like Slappy.
Don't believe everything you see on TV, kid. Look, are you okay? Do you need something?
Am I okay? Do I need something? The TV says you're the one who caused all this. You took the best thing in the world away from me. My girl. She was so beautiful. And we had so much in common. We were gonna go on a date tonight. And she loved me for who I am. But now, look at her now! Now she's dead! Dead! Because of you! You brought the zombies here! You ruined everything! I'll never get a date now!
Man, they did do a good job of making him creepy. Yeah, he's a pain in the ass. I always liked the first Lost Planet. The second one, I think, is a game you have to play co-op, though. Yeah, so the gist is you basically just hide behind this wall the whole time. And whenever he goes up to fire these things, you take cover until he's done, because he always stumbles after firing 3 shots. And I got a little greedy there. boss fight. What a fun boss. I hate this guy. Where did he go? Yeah, this boss is really lame. I mean, I don't know if this is the intended way to do it, but it's by far the safest. Oh shit, I still took damage? Turd. Although there is a thing where if you actually can get a hit on him with a defiler, like with like a jumping attack, he will fall down on his ass and you can get like 2 or 3 hits on him, but it's so risky. You will more than likely just take damage yourself from his flamethrowers, because he just sprays those wildly when he's going up and down that lane there. So by far the safest strategy is just to kind of camp behind this wall. And it just makes for a really tedious boss fight. Bad shots on his part. I thought he would like shoot that sign or whatever, but I guess not. He's got better aim than I thought. See how many pips of health I lost, and I'm doing this the safe and careful way. There we go.
You're so beautiful, baby. How about that date? I'm coming to pick you up in just a minute. Be right there. Don't worry, kids. Slappy will live forever.
Ugh, good riddance. I really hate that boss. And now we get his flamethrower. It's not really something I care to use, though.
Do what you need.
Let's just one more thing out of the way. Yeah, like knife gloves cost $25,000. You can buy Zombrex for that price, and they're so easy to make. I don't even know where you'd buy that. Like, where is that even located?
Hey, you looking for
You know, I actually really like the Xbox 360. I mean, like, besides all the hardware failures and stuff, I know I went through, like, 2 of them, and I'm currently on my 3rd Xbox 360. You know, I think that's actually one of the better things about the Xbox One is its backwards compatibility, because I don't think it has much else going for it at this point, which is, kind of sad to say. But But the backwards compatibility on Xbox One looks really neat, and I think it's reminding a lot of people that stuff on 360 and even the original Xbox was pretty darn good back when Microsoft consoles had games. No, it's something they're updating over time. I know they got some of the bigger titles up on there now, but they keep updating that. Like, they keep doing the job that they're doing now, and that might end up being a really nice replacement for 360 in the future. Especially the Xbox One X, I think that actually plays like 360 and original Xbox games that it's compatible with at like 4K, which is pretty nuts. Like playing Red Dead Redemption at 4K or something. But it's something that they're updating over time. But they seem to be doing a really good job with it, from what I know. But I'm on a PlayStation 4, not an Xbox One, so I don't have as much knowledge as some other people might have. One of the last titles they added, though, was like one of my favorites from 6th gen. That was SSX3. So that's like, oh man, I could play SSX3 on like a PS3 if I did some things, quote unquote, or if I had an Xbox One, I could play it at 4K, and that'd be really nice. Oh well. Like, I don't think they'll ever get everything on there, simply because some games are going to have licensing issues. Like, you'll never see stuff like the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games on something like that. Oh yeah, I got SSX3 on PS2. I always got my SSX games on PS2 because I could have all 4 shoulder buttons for tricks. I remember renting SSX Tricky on the GameCube and kind of being thrown off that there's only 3 shoulder buttons. Because I was used to the first SSX on PlayStation 2. So after Tricky, I ended up just getting them all on PS2. Ended up trading SSX3 for Resident Evil 4. I mean, normally I'd say that's the superior choice, but Resident Evil 4 is a Capcom game, and being a Capcom game, it means it gets a lot of ports. And Resident Evil 4 certainly gets a lot of ports. But I still have my GameCube copy of RE4 as well. Nowadays, I just play the Steam version. No, I gotta get Resident Evil 4 for the Zeebo. No, I don't even think we can get the Zeebo in North America. I don't even know, I'm just kind of wandering around. Oh, okay. So this one just requires us to go backwards. We just gotta give this lady a drink, and she's gonna show us that shortcut I was talking about earlier. So that's good timing, because I'm right here anyway. And it's also one of the easiest survivors, in my opinion. You have to give her a drink because she's exhausted, and there's a drink that's just right there. She's like in a tanning booth or something. And she needs something to cool her down, so we're gonna grab her some coffee, and she'll be okay with it. Yeah, she's looking a little bit like Princess Tomato in the Salad Kingdom.
Perfect.
I think, I never really traded many games as a kid. I think I traded stuff like, the Treyarch Spider-Man game on PS2, and I got very little for it. I had Portal Runner on the PS2, and I think I got, like, less than $1 for it. And I didn't care, I just wanted to get it out of my library, because that game is really bad. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. I remember trying to trade in my PSP with a bunch of games at the time, and the games weren't even that old. I think they were only a couple months old. And they were barely giving me anything for it, and I was like, nah. And I ended up selling it to someone I went to school with. And I actually regret that because I had Mega Man Powered Up, which was absolutely my favorite game on the PSP. And that game never got released digitally. I ended up getting 2 other PSPs later, like a 1000 and a PSP Go. But I still don't have a copy of Powered Up again. I should track that down. I just never really think of collecting for PSP or anything. If I play PSP anything, it's probably on my Vita, so it's a digital title. But that also works on the PSP Go as well. And the one nice thing about the PSP Go I learned recently is that there's a dock that comes with the PSP Go. If you use like a component cable or something, you can hook it up to like a TV, and you can pair it with like a PS3 controller. So I actually have one of those docks, so I need to get the full setup for that, and I'd like to maybe record PSP games using actual, like a PSP Go in the future. Oh yeah, like when I first had the PSP, I got like what was that, like a 4 gig memory card, like absolutely nothing. Maybe enough for like some pictures and saves and not a whole lot more. Digital games weren't really a thing at the time though. And I actually used my PSP as an MP3 player, and I thought 4 gigs was so big back then. And now it's just kind of like, it's nothing. I got like a Sony Walkman for my birthday, ended up getting like a 128 gig micro SD card. And I still don't think that's enough for me personally. I used to think 4 gigabytes was so much. I was like, I can have the Mega Man 8 soundtrack on my PSP and listen to it at school. I also used to play a lot of like Tekken Dark Resurrection on PSP. Like that was the game besides Mega Man Powered Up. I played that and Tekken the most. And people always like whenever I had Tekken with me, people would always crowd around the PSP because they thought the graphics were so amazing. And I mean, the game ran at an amazing frame rate. It looked fantastic. The load times were fast. It was a fantastic port. 32 megabytes. Was it that small? Am I getting it confused with the Vita memory card? I might be getting it confused with the Vita memory card. Wow, is it really megabytes? Oh, I think you're right. Yeah, you're definitely right. Makes me realize just how long ago 2005 actually was, when 32 megs was acceptable for that kind of thing. Holy crap, that's nothing. Like, what do you put on that besides saves? Nah, that's terrible. Oh, there was another thing I remember now about the PSP was like, before they had like digital distribution, like for the PSP, there was like the demo for Loco Roco, and you actually had to go on the website and download the eBoot file and put it on a memory card. And it's like, it was the exact same thing you did for like pirating games on the PSP at the time, but it was for an official demo from Sony. It was ridiculous. Like actually having to download a file from their website and plop it on the memory card just to install it and play it. Yeah, that was official. But that's like exactly what you did for like pirating games at the time. You just put them in the game folder, because when you had a memory card on the PSP, it was formatted, and everything would be in these separate, nice little folders. So you have like a music folder and a game folder. You used to be able to just like on the 1000 units, just plop stuff in the game folder, and it would just load. So you had to do that for the Loco Roco demo. I don't even know if they were aware of, like, that's how people were doing homebrew at the time. Because the PSP homebrew scene was, and homebrew and emulation scene was pretty darn big. Even the stuff for the Vita is pretty much just, it's just a lot of that PSP stuff ported over. So, like, I remember grabbing some, like, trying some stuff like Henkaku with my Vita. And it was just like, oh, look at these old emulators. I can play Neo Geo Pocket Color on my Vita. And it's like, oh, this is the same emulator from the PSP. Oh, can I not get up there? Oh, shoot. Yeah, I'm just kind of doinking around waiting for the next case. I'm going a little too quickly. Yeah, when I had my first batch of PSP games, I think it was like Tony Hawk's Underground 2 Remix was the very first thing I got for it, and then I got Luminous. And Luminous was like probably my favorite puzzle game, like period. Even more so than like Tetris and stuff like that. Actually, a little disappointed that that Tetsuya Mizuguchi game is not Luminous. It's just Tetris. Man, I like Luminous more. And yeah, Tekken, Dark Resurrection, Mega Man Maverick Hunter X, and Mega Man Powered Up. I don't think a whole lot more than that. Ended up getting stuff like Castlevania Dracula. I kind of wanted the Grand Theft Auto games, but I didn't want to play them with only one analog stick, so I ended up getting those on PS2 instead. I wasn't really that big into Darkstalkers at the time, not like I am now, where like Vampire Savior is my favorite fighting game ever. But at the time I just kind of ignored Chaos Tower. Oh, come on. For me. I'm not even sure if I would even want Chaos Tower at this point. Or if I would just get the version of Chronicle on the Dreamcast instead. But I'm quite content with like the Sega Saturn version. And I have like the PS2 board in here in my room. As well as like Resurrection and what have you on PS3. Yeah, I'm just killing things for funsies. Just mindly killing things while I talk. But yeah, I really loved Luminous, and that was like the main reason I got the Vita was because a third Luminous was on there. Yeah, I really liked the Vita. I wish Sony liked the Vita as much as I did. That'd be cool. Oh, that is a pretty good deal, because, like, the memory cards are, like, stupid expensive on Vita. So, like, even that price for, like, the memory card, like, the console and the memory card is a good deal. It's like my least favorite thing about the Vita is the memory cards are way too expensive. Sony's the only one that makes them. And they probably won't be making them for much longer. Because they seem to have completely given up on the Vita at this point. Although I did hear that the new Persona 3 and 5 dancing games are coming to the Vita as well as the PS4. But to be honest, I wasn't really a huge fan of the one for Persona 4. Like, the soundtrack for me was kind of hit or miss. It looked great, but I don't really care for like the way the screen is laid out in the Persona dancing games. Oh, no physical versions. Okay. I think Sony recently announced they're not going to be producing physical games for the Vita anymore, because they were always the one to produce the cards. I think they're not going to do the cards anymore. Can I paint the bike? I wish I could. Yeah, I think like they're actually ceasing production on all physical cards, so the Vita's going to be digital only from this point out, which is pretty much like the font. Like they're pretty much sunsetting the system, I think, at this point. The only thing they can announce from here on out is that we're not producing the console anymore, which would be a real shame. But I think they've been wanting to do that for a while. I just don't understand like why they felt so intimidated by the mobile market as to just not support what they have. Like, you put out this thing, why can't you see it through to the end? Is it really that much of a loss for you guys? Like, it's frustrating, I suppose. Because I think the Vita itself is like a really nice piece of hardware. There's even some services on the Vita, like Near, for instance, where you can see other PSN users close to your location. That's just completely gone now. It doesn't work. This just doesn't work. I thought you could, like, spray paint your bike. Just because, there's, like, an achievement for it. But I guess not. Not this way. So, waiting for those case files to show up. This just looks like fart, if I'm being completely honest. Or if I'm just being immature. I should probably make more defilers or something. And yeah, absolutely, like, the Vita being digital only wouldn't be that terrible if the memory cards weren't so expensive. Like, the 64GB memory card is, like, triple digits, I think. It's absolutely insane. And again, like, it's not like with the PSP, where you had, like, other companies making memory cards. Sony is the only one making memory cards, and they can charge as much as they want for the Vita. I don't know, it's like wasted potential, the portable, in my opinion. But no, cell phone games are the future. We can't compete with cell phone games. We can't compete with Nintendo. When I think the real reason is that they didn't have Monster Hunter on the Vita, since Capcom had to deal with Nintendo at the time. And as a result, like, I don't think the PSP really picked up in Japan until Freedom Unite came out over there. And then the PSP became a lot bigger, whereas in North America, that didn't really change a whole lot. But they don't have Monster Hunter on PSP, they just have a whole bunch of these other hunting games. But I don't think Japanese were as interested in those other hunting games, like Freedom Wars or Soul Sacrifice or whatever, as they were in just Monster Hunter. Got 3DS instead. Makes sense to me. But Capcom locked themselves in with Nintendo for a while. I don't think I can combine the sword with anything. Actually want to try something, because I don't actually know all of these off by heart. Oh, this works.
Perfect.
Oh, is the Vita doing well in Japan? I guess I never really hear much of the Vita in Japan. I know, like, sometimes I'll go to, like, conventions and I'll see, like, game store representatives, and their Vita sections are practically all Japanese. It's like, oh wow, look at all these games that we'll never get in North America. Because the Vita might as well just be ripperoonie over here. Case file would be really nice if this game would be so kind as to give me one. Or did I really get into the game too fast? Oh, so the physical game thing is just for North America then? Okay. I mean, that sucks for us, but as long as they're still being... No, I just think that system deserved a hell of a lot better. I mean, sometimes I'll take mine with me to work on my lunch break, and people will ask me what I'm playing. And they'll ask me, like, oh, what's that, a PSP? And I'll be like, oh, no, this is a Vita. And they'll be like, what's a Vita? And it's like, it's like PSP 2. And they're like, what? Really? I'm like, yeah, it's made by Sony. And then they go, Oh, I didn't realize they came out with one of those. When did that come out? And I was like, 2011 or 2012, somewhere around there. I think 2012. It's like, this isn't exactly new. I guess everyone completely forgot about it. If that's what Sony wanted, they just wanted people to forget about the Vita. Well, I guess they did their job. Just bombed that badly. Ah, it bugs me to no end. Like, if I was to bring something like a Neo Geo Pocket or a Wonder Swan with me to work on my lunch break, that'd be one thing, but, like, I would have thought the Vita would have been a fairly major platform. So, yeah, that's a huge bummer. So nowadays, I just bring my Switch, not so much because I always want to play it, but just so that people don't ask me, oh, what's that? I've never heard of a Vita. But besides, Mario Kart's fun to play on my lunch break, and I can share my Joy-Cons with my coworkers. Wow, you can't actually play bingo? That's a bummer. I guess I have no one to play bingo with, though. Yeah, this game just isn't really bringing up the case files like I want it to. I'm almost wondering if I plowed through it a little too quickly. Let's see here. But we do have a way to make nectar. So, this is nectar, and usually just get it with orange juice and some other alcoholic drink. But it's all, even though it shows up as just a food, it's actually a combo weapon. If you can find a queen bee somewhere around here, you can actually combine the queen with nectar, and you get like you actually get a secret combo weapon. But I need to find one first. I just don't see... Oh, there you are. Awesome. And there should be a room right here. And I believe this is also worth an achievement. Or a trophy if you're on PlayStation like me. Just gonna take this bee and I'm gonna haul it over here. And I'm gonna tape it up to this drink. And nah, it's just a bee. It's a bee with a jar of duct tape around it. But the idea is it becomes a little helper. And it just kind of kills things for like 500 experience each. So if you're still like leveling up, like at the beginning of the game or something, this thing just goes to town. And it just kills everything. It's actually better off just to let this do its thing. Because, I mean, what are they gonna do? Oh, where did it go? Did it disappear already? It might have disappeared already. That's too bad. But it gives you so much experience, it's not a big deal. It's also starting to get kind of late. Let's see. Oh man, there is still like so much time. So we'll just kind of doink around with some combo weapons.
Straight.
Button, just kind of slam down like that, but if you hold it, you'll like rock out for an extended period of time. Walking in the middle of a crowd wasn't such a really fun combo with Nokia, though. Not very effective. Because here I go again, getting grabbed. I should be using more effective use of my time. Maybe making more fighters with my gloves. Yeah, I should probably go and do that. We will need them for the next boss fight. Oh, it's not open yet. In regards to those, like, I really want to be excited. You know, like, I think Capcom can still do really good things. Like, if they allocate the budget to it. Because, like, yeah, like Monster Hunter World and Resident Evil 7, I would both say turned out really well. I think they're still very capable of making good games. But it's more like where they put their money, or whatever money they have. I think that seems to be their biggest problem, is just making sure that they are putting their money in the right place. Otherwise, you get something like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, where, I mean, I think it was a good game, but they clearly just didn't put the money into it. Or whatever money they had, they put in the wrong things. Oh my god, now you want me to do this one? Seriously? Okay. This is what I was trying to do earlier. But yeah, like, I think I'd be more, if I had anything to be worried about, I think I'd be more worried about Resident Evil 2, just because, that's a remake of a already well-established classic game, and, like, Devil May Cry 5 can be new, as I think people would be happy as long as it's just, like, Dante again, or maybe Nero or something, and not, like, you know, DMC Devil May Cry. Seeing as it's apparently just going to be Devil May Cry 5, I'm pretty sure we'll see, like, Uncle Dante again. But I think with Resident Evil 2, they'll probably do something, like, quite a bit different. And it's probably not going to make everybody happy. But I guess all I could really say in that regard is you can always play the original. But if they did something like remake on GameCube, that'd be awesome.
Randall, my son, I think you should reconsider what... Randy!
Father, call me Randy.
Get on with it! Do you... Randy, take this woman, please.
I do, Father. I do. Oh. Don't worry, honey. The other ones didn't mean anything to me. Just remember to say I do. You wanted me to wait until I was married? Well, I'm not waiting anymore. Oh, I knew I wouldn't die virgin.
Gigantic.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. Cut to the end, Dad. Cut to the end. Cut to the end.
If anyone knows of any reason why these two should not be joined in union, speak now, or forever hold your... Oh, thank God! Help us! Help us!
You're trying to ruin the happiest day of our lives?
Oh man, I just took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. I never asked for that. What? He's sliding. What are you doing? Oh my god. What is going on? Can I attack you, or... Oh my god, what is going on with the game? Oh, no, oh, what the hell is going on? Oh my god, this isn't right. Oh no. Oh my god. Okay, so let's try that again. It's not as buggy. He's not sliding around. Oh god, he's a fast fucker. I don't know if I can get away with just tanking him, or if he's gonna let me get up again. No, he's not gonna let me get up. Yeah, I think I can just tank him. There's a filer because it's amazing. There we go. Yay, no more crashing, at least not yet.
Baby, we could have been so good together. Our wedding night would have been so...
Okay, that confetti is kind of funny. But, not really fond of the one-liners that Chuck spouts out when he defeats psychopaths. Reminds me a little bit too much of Nathan Drake in a bad way. Like how he'll always, like, spout little quips after murdering a bunch of people. And now this is, like, the worst survivor in the game. She has such a hard time, like, not getting caught by zombies. I really dislike her. And unfortunately, they can't carry her anything. Batman Forever, the arcade game. That was released in arcades? Oh god, it's not the same Batman Forever I'm thinking of, is it? Like... Because I've got one of them on Super Nintendo, Batman Forever, and that game is total garbage. I had no idea there was an arcade version. Oh, yep, here we go. Getting grabbed again, because she can't help but get grabbed. She's terrible at not getting grabbed. Like that! This is like the worst survivor in the entire game. Like, please don't get grabbed. Please don't run into zombies, if you would be so kind. Oh my god, how many consoles did they port Batman Forever to? Like, that game is awful. Like, the Super Nintendo version's probably the worst game I have in my entire Super Nintendo collection. Like, to me, it's practically just a joke at this point.
Faster, this way.
It's the kind of game that's so bad, I've actually considered, like, you know, getting rid of it. In the sense of, like, actually, like, throwing it out or something. But I realize that'd be really stupid in the name of, like, game preservation. Like, no matter how bad a game is, like, it shouldn't really be destroyed if possible. Although I say this, and at my job, I unfortunately have to destroy games that are too I'm still working at Goodwill, and, if a game or a movie or whatever is too scratched up, we don't have a way to resurface them, so they just end up going in the garbage where they get compacted. And it's pretty sad. I hate throwing out games.
Keep it moving.
Of course she got grabbed again.
Let's go.
Hopefully, if I'm lucky, another zombie will just kind of scratch her and she'll get free.
Stick to me.
There we go again. Oh, she's just so largely incompetent.
Move it.
Get over here.
Keep it moving.
Like, I swear, the worst survivor in the entire game. We can just make it through these doors with Golden. And she's also a bit sluggish, but in her defense, she is wearing high heels. Though, I gotta ask you something, if you don't mind me asking. Why do you have Batman Forever, a fairly notoriously terrible game, on multiple platforms? Like, was that just a choice, or did you really like the movie? Well, I mean, if you don't feel comfortable asking, that's your business. But, I mean, I couldn't do that. Oh, so maybe your parents just kind of went, oh, we haven't bought him this yet. Oh, maybe we did. Never mind. Like an accident sort of thing, I guess, maybe? I know I can't speak to that. Wow, I can't change weapons without dropping it. Okie doke. I'm trying to think if that's ever happened to me at all. Is the Saturn game use, like, digitized sprites? Because I know they did the digitized sprite thing on Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. I actually thought, like, the graphics were pretty good on Super Nintendo. It was, like, the best thing the game had going for it were the graphics. I don't know anything about this arcade game or, like, of that. Like, that's news to me. I'm gonna have to try that at some point. Digitized frame. Is it still like a beat 'em up, or did they make it like a fighting game? Oh yeah, sure, I'd like to see that. I mean, I've got the Discord open right now. I mean, I'm not gonna open it while I'm streaming, but I am sitting in there at the moment. Oh, it's still a beat 'em up, okay. Because the Super Nintendo Genesis game was a beat 'em up. A really bad one though. Like a beat 'em up platformer. With some pretty weird controls, like it was on a Mortal Kombat engine or something, and so it had high and low punches and kicks while being on a single plane, which meant using your inventory of back gadgets or whatever was like kind of wonky. There was some stuff like a grappling hook where if you just hit it, it was like the select button, and it would go in a diagonal, but if you hit select and then up, it would go upwards, and your timing had to be precise with that. Otherwise, it'd just go off to the side again. And as a kid, I was never really sure how on earth to get that to work. I found it out, I think, by pure accident. It's just obtuse. And I mean, if you didn't have the manual, then you were just kind of had to figure it out on your own. Time do we got here? Oh, we still have like several hours. Okay. Maybe I'll trigger more things if I leave the safe room or leave this area. I'm thinking that's how it works. If I explore, it might be kind enough to send me more of those case files. And yeah, I mean, like, I don't have any problem with, like, trying out bad games. Because I just want the experience. I want to be able to be like, oh, I played this game, and maybe there is some redeeming factor to this game, or that everyone else is kind of overlooking or something. I mean, I'm the kind of person who actually bought Ride to Hell Retribution on PlayStation 3, after all. A game I would probably stream if other people didn't. Ah, crap, that was bad. Nah, don't celebrate that. That was wonky, Chucky. Let's try that again. Oh my god, I hit the home button. Oh, shoot. I accidentally hit the home button. Sorry about that. Let's not try that again. I guess I'm terrible at button mashing. Let's see, what else will we do here? I rode the bull on the last stream, and I think, shortly afterwards the game crashed, so I'm gonna consider that a bad omen. I already got the secret Zombrex in that area. Let's see, is there anything fun I can combine in here? There's lots of spray paint, as well as like these fireworks. Maybe there's a combination with that. I mean, probably not, but it's worth a try. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. Hey, get out of here. Let's see. Maybe this lizard mask? Oh, this does work.
Let's do this.
Ooh, this could be fun. If he goes anywhere. This is kind of... Oh, he's directing all the zombies towards him. Okay. This is making a bunch of fuss. Oh my god, a coaxial cable. Like, the ones you have to, like, screw in? Like, into the cable thing? Oh my god, I thought I had it bad with composite. I mean, the only thing worse than that is, like... Actually, no, that is RF, isn't it? Oh, that is RF. RF is the pits. I mean, no offense, but no, RF is the pits. That's really terrible. I think I still do that for my Sega Genesis. And it's one of the reasons I don't play it very often is because I just can't stand RF. I need to get some new cables. And as I've come into possession of some better Sega Genesis games, I really should put that on my priority list after I get the Akira for Dreamcast. Because, I mean, I don't even... Maybe I have that for the Master System? I think I have something better for the Master System than that. And the Master System's pretty neat too, by the way. I don't know how common it is in North America, though. Yeah, space is starting to become a concern for me. Like, I can't have all my consoles up anymore. Like, I have to put some in, like, drawers and stuff now. Like, I even put my Xbox 360 away, and to me, the 360 is not even that old. And every once in a while, I'll pull it out for something like Skate 2 or Dance Central or something. But it's just, I already feel quite weird putting away a last-gen console like that. But, like, my desk is cluttered. I got a CRT with a stand, and that's pretty much full. I've got a little bit of space underneath my 4K TV, but that's about it. I guess it's another reason to get more stuff on HDMI is just because I have more space for consoles hooked up through HDMI than I do with consoles hooked up through like composite or something for the CRT television. Oh, hooray, something new. Oh, it's the golf lady. Yeah, I think right now my setup is something like my PS4, my PS3, my Switch, and my Wii U are on my desk, which is like right in front of me. Under my TV right now, I've got like my 4K TV is like my Super NT, and sometimes I put the Xbox 360 there. And underneath, or with my CRT television, I've got an original Xbox and a Sega Master System sitting on top of that. I got Saturn, the Dreamcast, the PS2, and an NES. That's one of my Dreamcasts. I have 2 Dreamcasts now. This is the Black Sega Sports Dreamcast. And I think I've got another 2 Super Nintendos in a Tupperware container. Like one of the original models and like a mini junior model, like the SNES 101. And I got like a Wii and a GameCube tucked away. I've got, let's see, I've got 2 Atari 2600s. I got an Atari 400 computer. I've got 2 Sega Genesises. I got a Model 1 with a Sega CD and a Model 2. I have to double check. I have too much. And no, Fisty didn't send me the Sega Sports Dreamcast. That's the one that's tucked away right now. His was like an original gray one. The Sega Sports Dreamcast I bought on my own here in town. I found it at a pawn shop for about, I think, 80 bucks. I mean, it's kind of expensive for a Dreamcast. Usually Dreamcasts are like 20-ish. I mean, not a bad price at all, considering how many good games there are on the Dreamcast for such a short lifespan. Like, I want to get more into Dreamcast, though I think I prefer the Sega Saturn overall. But I think Dreamcast might be a little cheaper to get into than Saturn. Like, I'm gonna start importing for Dreamcast a little bit more. I recently bought Guilty Gear X, and I just used like a boot disk and Codebreaker to get that running on a normal Dreamcast. And it works really well, especially with my controller converter. I can use like a modern arcade chip with it. To be fair, your mom was pretty wise. I mean, but I think that's like one of the main reasons that Dreamcast flopped so hard after 1999. Really, it did well when it was around, but that wasn't that long. I do have Power Stone 2 on Dreamcast. I don't have the first one. That was probably the best trade in my entire life. When I was in college, I was talking to someone. I said I had just gotten the Dreamcast. And I said, oh, I wish I had Power Stone. And they're like, oh, I have Power Stone. And they're like, I'll let you have it. I don't really play it. I was like, oh, okay. But that wouldn't be fair. I gotta give you something. And they're like, okay, well, do you have Sonic Adventure? I'm like, yeah, I got Sonic Adventure, and I don't really care for Sonic Adventure that much, so you can just have it. So we decided to trade. And she brought the game the next day. And she said, oh, I'm sorry, it's Power Stone 2, is that okay? I'm like, yeah, that's perfectly fine. So I brought it home, and after giving her Sonic Adventure, and I had a ball of Power Stone 2, and I went, I wonder how much this game goes for nowadays. And I looked it up on eBay, and I felt a little sick to my stomach, because that Power Stone 2 is worth a lot more than Sonic Adventure. And, I still feel bad about it. I still feel super guilty. But that's how I have Power Stone 2 for like the low price of Sonic Adventure 1, a game I don't even care for.
My hero.
It'd be nice if Capcom re-released a Power Stone collection like they did on PSP. Like maybe like another port and with some online play or something, even if it was something kind of basic. Those games deserve to be around still. Oh yeah, no, I wasn't gonna flip the game. I mean, when I buy games, I buy them to play them. I don't buy them to make money off of them or anything like that. Nah, that's shady. I don't like that at all. Like, for me, having the game is great because it means now I can play it. And unfortunately, that does mean... Oh, I'm gonna make another defiler here. That does mean that I end up spending quite a bit of money on some old games from time to time. When I do have the cash for it. like another game I got on Dreamcast is Project Justice, uh, which is Rival Schools 2, and I bought the North American version because I didn't know about playing imports at the time, and I tried to buy it from someone in New York, and they had a buy it now price, and I was like, oh, I'll think about it. And then the next day I was like, I'm gonna go buy it from that guy. I have the money, I can do it. And then he changed the buy it now to a bidding price, so I messaged him and I go, oh well, I seen you had it as a buy it now price. Would you like? I'd be willing to pay that like right now. And then he gets back to me and goes, oh well, I'm actually gonna increase the price because it's worth a lot.
Yeah.
And I just didn't bother messaging him back. He jacked up the price the day after he took down the buy it now price. And, so I ended up... My only other option that would ship to Canada was, like, a factory sealed copy for, like, $200. And that was my only option. So I had to buy a factory sealed copy, and I ripped that sucker open. Because I was not going to buy that game just to have it sit in the seal. Oh no, you lost the game. Oh, that sucks. That was for the first Rival Schools, right? So I was hoping if you lost like Project Justice, that would be absolutely devastating. It's not a cheap game. Yeah, the first game. Yeah, there's like the arcade disc and the evolution disc or something like that. Oh, that still sucks though. I think games like that have a bit more demand nowadays. The longer Capcom ignores those IPs, I think the more people want them. That really sucks. I hope you can get that game again sometime. I think there was also like a Japanese exclusive update on the PlayStation that added characters like Ron Hibiki and stuff. So if you're into importing for PS1, you might want to look out for that too. Let's see. Still got a couple of hours. Let's see here. There's a football dynamite thing, or football grenade. I don't know if there's any dynamite around here, though. But, like, me personally, I can't really play Rival Schools after playing Project Justice. I don't know why. Something about the original Rival Schools is a little off to me after playing Project Justice. Oh, okay. I mean, I'm always going to go off on how nice it is, how incredibly amazing it is that emulation is an option. Because otherwise a lot of these games just wouldn't be... They'd be lost to time forever. Especially for a lot of folks, they wouldn't even know about these games anymore. Oh, yeah. I forgot about this one. Or, I shouldn't say I forgot about it. I mentioned it last time. So this guy who was vandalizing the slot machines in the first part, like the first stream, I said before that he tends to cause trouble and start a mutiny. Well, this is that. So he's gonna try and start a mutiny, and all we have to do is go back and tell him to shut the hell up, because he's being a punk. So anyway, back to, like, emulation and stuff. I'm so glad that these games actually have a chance to be, like, digitally preserved. Especially, like, arcade games, because those would be lost forever, if it wasn't for emulation. Even, they'd be lost for even the purposes of re-releasing them officially. Like, you wouldn't have things like the Street Fighter 30th collection or whatever, if it wasn't for emulation. As for Project Justice, I think you could try emulating that in an emulator called Deemel. It's a Russian-made Dreamcast emulator that also does Naomi 1 and Naomi 2 and a Thomas Wave and stuff. I think it's in, like, beta or something, but from what I've used, it's fantastic. And it's by far, like, for Dreamcast in particular, it's like the best I've used. Stuff like Null DC is like completely pointless to me now that Deemul is a thing. So that's DEMUL if you're ever interested in checking that out and trying out something like Project Justice without spending a mint on it. And that's another plus about emulation, in my opinion, because like I like to emulate stuff that's brand new to me, like stuff that I don't really know about, just to try it out. And sometimes I'll emulate games and go, oh, this is really good, and then I end up buying it later. So to me, it's not so much like this is my one all end all be like way to play these games. It's like, oh, here's my way to check them out, and now that I played them, now I'm going to make it a thing to buy them in the future. So here's this jerk. I don't even think that insult makes any sense. This guy's such a tool. Oh my god, he's a moron. Yeah, like, for example, I would have never been able to, I would never be able to experience a game firsthand without paying hundreds of dollars. Something like Final Fight Revenge. Oh, that game is not good. Um, I admittedly have a little bit of a soft spot for it because it's Final Fight, but it's not a good game. It's not a good game. Uh, but yeah, it's more so not just games that are too expensive, but it's also games that there just aren't very many of, like Panzer Dragoon Saga, for instance, or games that are just like lost, like otherwise lost, like arcade machines. Like a lot of those end up getting destroyed. Um, my dad used to move pool tables and stuff for a businessman in town, and there were pool tables and they were arcade games, and some of them he just decided you just got to get rid of these. So the businessman would actually hire my dad to basically like take old cabinets and like dismantle them and burn them in the backyard. And it's like it's the saddest thing watching these old games burn essentially. So it's like these games do become lost. Physical things don't last forever. Things do degrade, things do die over time, and all of these physical games that exist now, like eventually they will not exist anymore. They don't last forever, and that's just the sad reality. So, by having these games available in something like a digital format, we can preserve these games so that maybe though they're not 100% the original experience, like as intended, they can. What the hell was that throw? I think I killed someone with it though. They can still be played. They can still be experienced by like newer generations of people. Something like I'm always going on about like Red Earth or Warzard or whatever. Like that's a game that didn't do very well at all. It was I don't even think it was released in North America, just Japan and Europe. And that'd be totally lost to me and many others if it wasn't for emulation. So to me it's like, wow, I can actually play these games that I would never have the opportunity in my life to otherwise. So, I mean, to me, emulation's fantastic. Even if, like, it's not the games that are hard to come by, it's, like, the hardware itself, like, the console itself, for whatever reason. Or now in the modern day, you got, like, licensing issues. So something like that Scott Pilgrim game is gone. It's been delisted, like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. But apparently you can emulate that in RCPS3. It's like a PlayStation 3 emulator. Apparently that emulates really well. It's like, oh, look, now people can play this game again. It's not totally lost to time. And, like, to me, that's fantastic. Hopefully I mean, in the future there'll be something like that for, like, say, PT. Because that's a really elusive one. I heard recently that having a PT on consoles is actually locking people out of their entire libraries. Which is just like, oh my god. I don't know who to blame for that one, Sony or Konami. I'd like to blame Konami because I just don't like Konami at all anymore. Yeah, I've heard RCPS3 has gotten, like, really better really quickly as well. Stuff like God of War 3 and Asura's Wrath and stuff like that is apparently... and Nier, the first Nier. Both versions. The Brother Nier version and the Papa Nier version are progressing, like, really quickly. And, like, that's great because, I mean, at some point, these games will be too old to find in the store anymore. It might sound a little ridiculous now, while they're still pretty easy to find, but at some point they will be lost. Or even if it's something, like, notoriously crappy and it gets delisted, like Ride to Hell. They stopped producing PS3 copies of that quite a while ago, and I know, I'm on my way. Or that was delisted from Steam. They stopped producing copies for that for PS3 really quickly. I think the only one that was ever around was the 360 version. Even something like that, like, that's still history, as terrible as it is. It's still game history. So, like, as crappy as that game may be, like, people have the right to know that it existed at one point in time. Just like many arcade games that have been lost to time. Just like, you know, games on really obscure platforms or what have you. Like, emulation is a good thing, despite what some companies like Nintendo might try and tell you. I think it's really important to have. I mean, sorry for the rambling, though. I do realize I'm just filling in time, smashing zombies, getting grabbed by zombies, doing sick wrestling moves on zombies. But we're gonna move on with the next big part of the game. Oh, I already have the example. Take a sit, babes. Oh my god, get off of me. Yeah, I mean, there's a number of companies that do that, though. I'll get to that afterwards.
Have a drink, Chuck. TK had a feeling you'd show up.
You're the source?
Can't have the man responsible for the outbreak running around free now, can we, Chuck? Especially as he keeps interfering with other people's business.
That's bullshit and you know it. TK set me up and you helped.
We're just some fellow survivors trying to win big, Chuck. But you wouldn't know much about that.
This outbreak is killing thousands. People are dying.
Bragging doesn't really suit you, Chuck. I always saw you more as the strong, silent type.
The very, very silent type.
That's gotta be one of the worst threats I've ever heard. With Nintendo, I think it's more like... It's a little different than some other companies that use emulation to, like, resell games, like, say, Capcom, when they put out a collection or something. Because with Nintendo, what ticks me off is that they publicly bemoan emulation, saying, oh, it's piracy, it's the worst thing ever, and yet the Virtual Console... You're not gonna get up, are ya? Oh, no. The Virtual Console and stuff like that, well, what is that? It's emulation. I mean, of course it is. Whether it be something like that, or maybe that Zelda collection on the GameCube that they sold a long time ago. I mean, that's still emulation. Or even like their plans with the Switch, when you pay into the subscription fee and get some copy of fucking Ice Climbers or something. I don't fucking know. Again, for the millionth time. I'm just gonna get stepped on again. It's more annoying than it is attractive. It's just their way of saying you can't pirate or you can't emulate our games because we're still selling them. It's basically their way of like holding on to the sales price of these games, I guess. And oh shit, I didn't think this through. Ah, crap. Oh, I didn't think this through at all. Don't puke again, Chuck. Don't puke again. He's gonna puke again, isn't he? Yep. That sucks. No, not the beer. Please, not the beer. Oh, where did that other one go? She's so low on health. Whoa! There we go. That was way too close. It's basically just their way of like saying, oh, we're still selling these, don't emulate them, because that would be illegal, because we're still selling them.
What have you done?
But they're still emulating them themselves. To me, it's like, I get it, I guess they have that right, but to me it kind of comes off as hypocritical.
But you'll pay. You will never get out of here alive, Chuck. We promise you that. All of us. I'll never be complete again. Never!
No, don't!
It's about time. You'd almost think you liked me being tied up.
I can't believe you trusted them.
I know. I'm sorry. But they had the tape. It spoke for itself. Maybe this will make it up to you. I heard them talking earlier. TK's got another chopper coming in at sunset. He's getting whatever money he can still get his hands on, and then getting out of the city.
Did they say where he's meeting the chopper?
No, so we're going to have to watch for it. I'll meet you on the rooftop above the bunker at 8 o'clock.
I'll be there.
Yeah, I just... Oh, and I'm still puking. Wonderful. After all that, I've just held it in just for that moment. Can't puke in front of Rebecca, I guess. But I think we're okay. He's not lurching over. Yeah, I just, like, I guess they have that right, I suppose, but it's just because it is their property. Like, it is their games at the end of the day. But, I don't know. I think I'd feel better if it was more in compilations than just, like, digital reselling. Or if, like, their public attitude was a little bit different. I am actually gonna die. I might actually have to go get drunk again. Like, there's many other companies that don't really give as much of a fuss as Nintendo does. I think there was some controversy a while ago about, like, some guy who did, like, tool-assisted speedruns, and his entire channel was basically just copyright claimed by Nintendo. And it basically just ruined his entire, YouTube channel. That's good enough for now. And, like, because you can't really do those tool-assisted speedruns without something like, with emulation. And Nintendo basically swooped in and said nope, and kind of ruined that. That's like his entire like livelihood on YouTube just gone in a finger snap. And there's many other, I think there's other companies that like don't care as much. In fact, they kind of, in some ways, they may even embrace it, or at least just acknowledge it and go, okay, well, you have like this emulation, like this fan-made emulation, but here's our take on this emulation. It might have some features that you're interested in, like online play and leaderboards, or drop-in, drop-out co-op, or whatever. I'm thinking especially of a lot of the Capcom re-releases that came out like last generation. Like your Darkstalkers Resurrection, Third Strike Online, Marvel Origins, rather. Stuff like that. So it was like, okay, well these official alternatives to like fan-made emulation aren't bad at all. In fact, some of them actually have genuine advantages. Instead of just publicly bemoaning, oh, emulation's the devil, it's the worst thing in the industry, oh, so terrible, it ruins our business, it's killing the industry. You know, like, I guess it's the old if you can't beat them, join them sort of thing that I kind of wish Nintendo would get off their high horse about. Because I don't think it's going away, no matter how much they complain about it or actively attempt to fight it. Like, it's not going anywhere. It's just kind of making them look bad when they complain all the time. I thought there was steak up here. I wish there was steak up here. I could use some steak. And I really don't want to drink alcohol again. So I guess, in the case of Nintendo and emulation, I think it's more of a case of attitude more so than anything else. But, I mean, what can I say? I'm just a consumer. I'm not actually in the industry at all. I'm just a guy here playing video games. My say doesn't really matter in the end, outside of my dollar. Where my money goes to is the only thing that really, truly matters. And that's just being a business, I suppose. I'm gonna take a couple of pastas, because we're gonna fight another psychopath. Gonna fight the mailman guy. If I could not get grabbed by zombies for the upteenth time, that'd be amazing. Oh, I didn't want the wine. Here, you can have it. Like, I don't think the mailman guy is that much of a hassle, but just to be safe, I'm gonna take some health items with me, and pasta's very, very good. You know, it'd be kind of nice, now that I'm thinking about it, is if, the entirety of Fortune City was just one open area instead of being these, split up locations. Like, I guess that is Dead Rising 2 in its design, but it's something that they could have done for the remaster. It would have been pretty neat. Might have been harder to implement, though. But I think this was a pretty, quick and easy re-release, more so than a remaster. Like, why not have that casino connected to the Royal Flush Plaza without having this loading zone in this particular version of the game? Like, I understand why you couldn't do it on 360 or PS3, but like, why not in this version of the game? Oh, here's a new feature: the whole of Fortune City is interconnected. Instead, I guess they decided to just do the easy way. I mean, like, I can understand, like, the hardware limitations on PS3 and 360, but for PS4 and Xbox One, or maybe it has something to do, with maybe the way the game loads zombies in. I guess I had to consider that, too. Let's see, I'm all stocked up on pasta, I've got my defilers, this should be okay. Oh, just in case, I'm going to save. Because in case we do like another cutscene and the game does something stupid again. But I'm thinking here that I might call it fairly soon. Let's see, 7 a.m. is the next Zombrex thing. There's still case 6 and 7 in the facts. Oh, there's still quite a bit of time until we give Katie her Zombrex. I might do like last time and just give Katie her Zombrex and then call it for another day. And we'll come back tomorrow. Because I kind of like the idea of doing like an in-game day and also a day of streaming. I kind of like that idea.
A signature is required for delivery!
Hey, buddy. I don't think there's anyone there.
Sir, maybe you can sign for this.
What?
Special delivery, signature required. I have rounds to do and I'm behind!
You do know there's a zombie outbreak going on.
Neither rain, nor sleet, nor hail, nor zombies are going to keep me from my appointed rounds. I swore an oath, sir, and this package requires a signature!
Whatever, buddy, if it makes you feel better. I could use that anyway.
That is a Dead Rising pen.
You're Chuck Green. You stop. Actually, I have been looking for you. This package is a very special delivery. Just for you. Have a nice day. Years of perfect service, perfect attendance, all ruined because you! You know, without order, without routine, we have nothing! Well, you won't succeed, You will not bring down my post of service! You are going to pay!
I thought he had a line about America or something. Like, you mess with the mail, you mess with America, but maybe they removed that in this version. He seems to be really intimidated by the idea that it'll run up to him. Even though he's got a gun, he can pull the trigger. Oh, he's getting stun locked really hard. Come on, really? That's just the worst zombie timing. Yeah, he's not really firing his gun, he's just letting me smack him around. He didn't pull the trigger once. Wow, okay, cool.
I need this for my daughter.
This one's a special delivery. Express.
A whole lot of nothing just exploded over there. Nothing but this, extremely flat-looking pool of blood. I can't really say I feel too bad for him, though. And I guess that, all that pasta was kind of for nothing. So I'll have a little snack. Alright. Get up there. Oh, hello there. Not you. There we go. Get some free kills. Yeah, so I think the next thing I'll probably end up doing is... I mean, maybe some other case file will come up, I'm hoping so. But we'll give Katie or Zombrex what I'm thinking. But now I've got plenty of Zombrex for, I think, the rest of the game. Oh man, like, being able to shoot and move at the same time is definitely a positive to Dead Rising 2 in comparison to the first one, where it's like the stop and pop system, so like aiming is really slow in Dead Rising 1. Here it's quite a bit more snappier. If I was any good at aiming with the controller anyway. Let's see, the next thing is at 7 p.m. That's the next major case, and Zombrex is at 7 a.m., which is still another 6 in-game hours. So I'm thinking... Oh, there's a lot of people who are still very adamant about Dead Rising 1 being a better game, and I like both. I prefer 2 myself, personally. I think it's just more refined in a number of areas, but there are definitely some positive qualities to 1. Like, I like the psychopaths in 1 a lot more than 2. I like the way it handles the psychopaths when you have to defend yourself against them and stuff. I do actually enjoy the challenge of Dead Rising 1. In this game, you really only have to restart like maybe 2 or 3 times. In the first game, it's pretty common to restart. Even like when you're halfway leveled, like say level 25, it can still be a good idea to restart. The photography, stuff like that too. Like there's definitely stuff I like about the first game, and I've been hopping back and forth between both here on PS4. But I just like 2. I just like 2 more. There's refined elements I prefer in 2. And I like Fortune City a lot. Like, the mall in Willamette Mall in Dead Rising 1 is iconic, but I do really like Fortune City. I like the combo weapons, too, even though they're kind of overpowered. I think I was talking about this last time. In Dead Rising 1, there's kind of like the idea of, since everything is a weapon, you have to maybe be a little bit more resourceful. But I've been finding myself not really doing that as much. I end up getting, like, I know where the katana is, and I know where the sledgehammers are, so I end up just stocking up on those. And then there's the whole thing with the mini chainsaws. You can get the mini chainsaws from Adam, and they cut through psychopaths so quickly. And if you get, I think there's like 2 or 3 books you're supposed to find and just hold on to, then they become indestructible for the rest of the game. And then that whole idea of, like, being resourceful with, like, where in a game where anything is a weapon, kind of goes out the window when you're really only using, like, 2 or 3 weapons for the entire game. So, in a sense, like, even though the combo weapons are overpowered, like the Defiler and the Knife Gloves in Dead Rising 2, there's a lot of just silly, fun ones that are fun to tool around with. And it's not just using 2 or 3 weapons for the entire game. You can just kind of goof around with them, and I like that a lot. Like, even right now, I'm going to try and make, I think it's this combination. Oh, no, it's not this combination at all. What the hell do you do? What do you use the football for? I can't remember. It's like the hunk of meat or something. There we go.
Just like Mom used to make.
Like something like this. I don't have to do this at all.
Please, I need some assistance. Somebody's gotta be out there somewhere.
But come on, that's fun. That's a lot of fun. I like that. I feel like Dead Rising 2 with the combo weapons kind of allows you to have more fun with the zombies. And I really appreciate that in of itself. Oh, yeah, there's this guy, and he insists that you have a gun. Let's see. There's an LMG in this area, but I'll help him out first, because he's in trouble. Yeah, he's not like, you don't get a call about him, he's just kind of here. Yeah, I know you need some protection, but he insists that you have a gun on you. So, there's an LMG in this area, and I'll just grab it again. Yes, I'm going to help you. But it's so hard to help you and not kill you at the same time. But these zombies are just being really obnoxious. Like, leave my pal alone. Shit. Can I give him some pasta? No. Oh my god, he's not gonna make it. Yeah, these zombies are being really, really aggro right now. I don't have a gun yet. Hopefully he can just survive while I go and get a gun. If not, then oh well. I think he just gives you a ton of cash. Not that I really need it. Or if there's like a security guard zombie who happens to have like a shotgun or something, that'd be great too. Unfortunately, I don't think a water gun is gonna work. But yeah, I think like when it comes to Dead Rising, I don't think the series really got objectively worse until 3. And even then, I still personally like 3. It's been a long time since I played it. I wouldn't mind replaying it, but it has been quite some time. But it isn't as good as the first two. Dead Rising 4 is... I mean, I think a lot of people know about Dead Rising 4 already, and unfortunately a lot of it is very true. It's just not... Not only is it, like, barely a Dead Rising game at all, and if it is a Dead Rising game, it's a terrible one. Excuse me. It's also just not a very good open-world hack-and-slash game. It's just kind of not a great game, which is unfortunate, because I want my games to be good, especially in a series I like Dead Rising. And unfortunately, that game just didn't turn out like I wanted it to. Either as an open-world hack-and-slash game or as a Dead Rising game, I don't think it was what people were looking for, including myself. I just think it wasn't handled very well. It's kind of whack. Frank is back. Yeah. Frank West, more like Hank West, or Hank East, which is actually a joke in Dead Rising 4, that he disguises himself as a guy named Hank East, and he's a school teacher, and the only difference is that his name is Hank East. It's such a bad joke. That game is miserable. Why did they just turn him into like a bootleg Deadpool. I don't like it at all. I don't like the way he's written. It's not even his voice that bothers me, it's just the way he's written. He's just annoying. Alright. I got a gun. So, will you come over here and take some pasta, dude?
Stick close.
Get over here.
Not a chance. Come on.
Oh my god. Okay,
Faster.
seriously? I
Follow
can't
me.
feed
Keep
you?
it moving. Come on. Faster.
Fine, I guess he's just a bonus survivor anyway. Like, I don't want
Stay
your
close.
briefcase, I just want to keep you alive.
Stick close.
Oh, what do we got here? Oh, that one's
Follow
dumb.
me. Keep close.
So, if this
Still
survivor is to... If this survivor gives us a bunch of cash, those other survivors are going to take away a bunch of cash. They won't come with us unless we pay them. And... I don't really care. It's just a way to fill in time when I'm at level 50
Don't fall
already.
behind. This way. Come on.
Yeah, I don't really care for Frank West in Dead Rising 4. He's just kind of a moron. Like, again, a lot of people were upset about the change in voice actor, and while that's kind of crummy, even if it was, what's his name, like TJ Rotolo or something, Even if it was him, he still wouldn't be like Frank West. He just doesn't act like Frank West at all. Guys, mini golf. Haha, XD, random, so funny. Mini golf, guys. I wanted to play mini golf. And they even made like a fucking DLC out of that mini golf. It's like, we don't need... No, the mini golf thing wasn't funny. Why do they think it's so funny? He might as well like just replace the word mini golf with pancakes. And I mean, XD pancakes, guys. It's just mini golf though. That's Frank West in that game. It's really annoying. Oh man, I'm actually getting kind of heated talking about this. I'm sorry. I just wish that game was better.
I'm very grateful.
Yay, $70,000. Ah, we might as well get those ladies. I don't think they cost $70,000. But I think they want like a good chunk of cash, otherwise they refuse to come with you. I mean, what else am I gonna do while I'm killing time until I give Katie her Zombrex anyway? But yeah, thinking back on Dead Rising 4, like, honestly, my favorite thing about that entire game had nothing to do with the game itself. It was the copious amounts of Capcom fan service. Oh, what do we got here? Oh, the Rich Evans looking guy. Okay. I actually have some pasta, so that would be easy. And also he gives us Zombrex. But I'll get the ladies first or something. I get the feeling that Capcom Vancouver really, really, really likes classic Capcom, because Dead Rising 4 is absolutely stuffed with Capcom fan service all over the place. There's like Bionic Commando sweaters, and you go into kids' rooms, and there's like classic Capcom art for like Darkstalkers and Breath of Fire and Rival Schools, like everywhere. And it's more fun to go around looking for all that Capcom stuff than it is to actually kind of go through the game itself. You'll go in a mall and there'll be a store, and it's like, oh, here's a store for buying costumes, and there'll be like those cardboard stand-ups of like Street Fighter Alpha 3 art of like E Honda and Rainbow Mika or something. It's like the people themselves that made the game, they must really like being a part of Capcom, but the game they made here isn't really up to that standard, I guess.
Damn right.
And I guess that makes me sad, but I do like seeing all that stuff in one game. I think I went through pretty much the entirety of Dead Rising 4 on PC with like a sweater that had a baby head from Captain Commando while wearing like a reindeer hat. Because I could. And I'm really quite fond of Captain Commando. It's too bad there's no battle circuit, but we can't win them all, I guess. Alright, so these ladies are in this area where we get to from the shortcut. I don't know, like, is it wrong for me to complain about a game so much? Like I feel like I'm just whining, you know, but I really didn't like that one as much as the other Dead Rising games. I feel like that game could have been a lot better. Like, I feel bad for complaining all the time. $10,000, that's a lot of money.
Keep going.
Oh, Katie's gonna need her Zombrex soon.
Got any updates?
I guess all I can really do is apologize for being so negative, because I don't want to be negative. I've been negative for far too long in my life. I wanna be happier, you know. And especially when it comes to video games. Like, even just I should just be happy that I have the time to play video games. To kind of take a page from Metal Gear Solid here. But that game just didn't really make me very happy. It was, like, it's the kind of game I would have rented, you know. Like, if renting games was still kind of a fashionable thing to do. And at the time, the PS4 version wasn't out. And I don't have an Xbox One. So I just ended up buying it on Steam during a deep discount. I think it went down by 60%, like, very quickly. Because I think nobody bought it on Steam. And, you know, like, it's the kind of game where it's like, well, if I had rented this for a weekend, this would have been fine. I would have been disappointed as a Dead Rising fan, but, you know, just as a game to play on the weekend, it would have been okay. And I think I used to do that sort of thing a lot when I was younger. I'd read magazines and stuff, and a game, if it got like a 7 out of 10 or a 6 out of 10, I'd rent it, just to try it, and see for myself. I think Dead Rising 4 would have been a nice rental game, but renting games isn't something that people commonly do anymore. That's probably the most positive I can say about Dead Rising 4, is that I would rent it if I could, or would, and there's a lot of Capcom fan service that's really nice to see. But that's about the most that I can say that's really nice about Dead Rising 4, personally speaking. And I think I have time to get the Hungry Man. Like, I don't know if it's supposed to be intentional or if it's just sheer coincidence. But his name is Richard, and he looks just like Rich Evans from Red Letter Media, the YouTube channel, and it just throws me off every single time. If you haven't seen him before, I'll show you in a second. I just gotta get over there. Now what? Oh, it's another psychopath. We will probably... I don't know if I'll get to him. Now the game is just giving me case after case after case here. I don't know if we'll get to him before I give Katie Zombrax. But we can at least get this survivor here. He's also a nice survivor because he gives you Zombrax. So if you needed Zombrax up to this point, which I clearly do not, I have 4 Zombrax vaccines or whatever, you could just get some from him. Man, you know, I'm still actually pretty impressed for a game that's pretty old now, like Dead Rising 2. I'm impressed how many enemies I got on screen. Like, I think this game's supposed to chug pretty hard on 360, but, like, there is a really impressive amount of enemies on screen. I think that's still pretty darn impressive, considering how many, like, character models and textures and stuff you have to render all at once. And it just means more to slash through. Or maybe I'm just old and I'm easy to impress, I don't know. Yes, this is the guy here. Oh, if my head not got in the way. Like, this gotta be a coincidence. Either that or I'm just crazy. Here's some pasta, dude. Just eat the whole plate.
Right on. Follow me.
Although I think this guy might have a little bit more hair than the current Evans, though.
Keep going.
I don't know if it's supposed to be just some... Oh, shit. I don't know if it's just supposed to be, like, some cameo or something. Or if it was just...
Let's go.
Just a
Keep going.
coincidence. Like, I want to think it was just a coincidence, though.
Stick close.
Haven't done this in a while. Oh, I don't even... Oh, crap. Rich. Come on, buddy. There we go.
Let's go.
I mean, I've said this before, and I will say it again. The survivor pathfinding in this game is so much better than the first one. With the exception of that one bride lady, Danny, who tends to just kind of get in the way of the zombies all the time. Survivors do a much better job of staying out of the clutches of zombies, and also just following the player than they do in the first game. And hello there, Daniel. Thanks for dropping by the stream. I mean, unfortunately, you might have caught in the tail end of the stream today, because I'm going to give Katie her Zombrex, and then I'm going to be done for today. But thank you so much for dropping by anyway. I am going to be giving Katie her Zombrex, and then I'm going to be done. So, it's going to be a big NO. Sorry.
Stay close.
Let's see, how much time do we got for that anyway? Let's look at, like, what's that? An hour and a half? I don't think... I wouldn't have enough time to take out that one survivor, would I? Or not the survivor, the psychopath. Yeah, sorry, man. I know at the top of the screen it says, like, only an hour and a half, but the game crashed on me earlier. I've actually been streaming since about 2 o'clock Eastern, so I've been streaming for quite a while. And I'm about ready to hang it up for the day. Just have to give Katie her Zombrex in a little bit. Yeah, I don't know if I have enough time to take care of him. He's not very hard. Oh, almost forgot. I mean, I might have enough time to squeeze it in. Maybe? Because I think you have until like 8 o'clock, so I should have enough time. I don't have to be there. You let Katie die? Oh, that's terrible. I mean, she's your kid, and how else are you going to get the S ending? Oh crap, I forgot the sledgehammer. Oh, I always go for, like, the S ending, so I always try to get the main cases done. And, there's a point in the game where you have to give TK some Zombrex. And I always do that, like, every time, because I'm a boring person.
Killer.
There's some hidden Zombrex, or you can just buy it. There's one in the Americana Casino. If you go up, that barbecue shack, you go to the second floor, there's like a little ledge you can hop over, and there's some lights, and you can jump on top of those lights, and there's some Zombrex up there. And I think also the Yucatan Casino has some hidden Zombrex. It's like, there's like this central pillar thing. There's a bunch of like Mega Man 10 slot machines. You can climb up there, and there's like a box of Zombrex along with an LMG. So those are two hidden ones you can find. In case you have in case you want to try it again in the future. Because I think that's like the first thing I go for. I always go for the one in the Americana because it's right next to the Royal Flush Plaza. It's like as soon as you exit the safe room, you just take a right and you just head right there. And then it's just hopping across some lights from the barbecue shack. But it does require a little bit of platforming. Oh my goodness, what do you want now? At least the transceiver thing isn't as much of a hassle as it is in the first game. All you have to do is look at your watch and it's right there. It's not like you have to have the transceiver up to your ear. How are we doing for time here? I'm really pushing it too. It's already 6 o'clock. Oh shoot. Okay, I better make this quick, but I'm right there.
Yeah, that's it. Now let me hear you beg, boy.
Please, we just needed food.
Hey, buddy! What? Who are you? Another trespasser? I'm in charge of this here mall. You can't just come waltzing in here. You think I'm just gonna roll over and play dead? Not anymore. You ain't the big man in town. Not no more. Everybody else is dead. I'm the big man now.
Hey, look. I'm sure he wasn't trying to piss you off.
Oh, think you're better than me? Well, you ain't got the badge, do you? Now you fellas have to listen to me. Y'all can't push me around now. Oh, no, not now. If I say dance, you dance!
Yeah, what a dick. He's just a jerk. Let's see. Is he just gonna stand around and let me snap him though? Hopefully. Sometimes he just kind of lets you snap him over and over. And sometimes he gets distracted with zombies and stuff. Come on, let me snap you. There we go. Now we got time to get back. Defiler is such an amazing weapon.
I'm the big shot now. I'm twice the man. You are.
That's just unnecessary. I don't think they had a better way to kill him off than that.
I saw what you did there.
Oh, that's so crappy. That was really unnecessary. But now we get the 6-shooter, which is ricochet shells, I think. Just kills one. I don't know. That's a lot of ammo. The Defiler, that's this weapon here, is with a sledgehammer and a fire axe. There's 2 fire axes in the safe room, And when you leave the safe room, there will always be a sledgehammer on the way out those doors. The knife gloves are also really easy to make. Just when you exit out of that safe room area, you take a left and there's like a newsstand, and on top of the newsstand is a Bowie knife. And there's also a sports store right there, and there's like boxing gloves. So you just combine the boxing gloves with the Bowie knife, and you can just go back to the safe room and do it over and over again. And they give out, I think, the knife gloves give out 300 experience a kill, and the defiler does 250 a kill, so that's quite a bit. And they're also just really powerful weapons. So I end up stocking on like nothing but these. Oh, I'm gonna return those though. As pretty as that may be, I totally forgot that was there. From leveling up, I am level 50. Level 50 is the max level in this game. Like, I can just show you real quick. We go to status, and you just gain these attributes from leveling up over time. So they're all maxed out right now. So this is what I was talking about right here. This newsstand right here with the orange juice, there's always a Bowie knife on here. And then the sports store over here, there's always these boxing gloves, and there's also some on the other side. So then you just take them to maintenance room or whatever. And here's that sledgehammer I was talking about. So when you're coming down this hallway, you can grab that sledgehammer. And then the safe room itself, there's like 2 fire axes. So that gives you the defiler.
Good.
So I just tend to stock up on those all the time. What time we got here? 6:45. Oh, we made it just in time. And I'm gonna save early, just in case, because I've had this game crash on me, unfortunately. And then we'll give Katie her Zombrex. And then we'll be done, at least for today. So yeah, there's a fire axe right here. And there's also a fire axe right here. Yeah, I know it's a little early. Yeah, not time. Now the most fun part of any Dead Rising 2 or even Dead Rising 1 stream is staring at the clock. But thankfully this is a digital watch and not like a mechanical one like in the first game. And there we go.
Daddy, I don't feel so good.
Katie! 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 This is how her mother was before she...
It's okay. Look, she's not turning. This happened to my sister once. It's that damn drug.
Your sister?
She used to have to deal with Zombrex too.
Used to.
She couldn't take it anymore. Everything in her life revolving around that drug. One day she just let herself.
I'm sorry.
There's talk of finding a cure someday. Isabella Keyes was looking for it.
Wasn't she one of the terrorists in Willamette?
No, her brother was the terrorist. He was angry, taking revenge for a government experiment that caused all of this in the first place. Isabella tried to help. She worked with Frank West to make the first inhibitor, using Queens.
Well, I hope she's still looking.
Alright, so that's that. So we'll just save here. And as for Snowflake the Tiger, which I'll explain before I close out here. So there's a portion in the game where you come across Ted in, I think, the Yucatan, and he has Snowflake the Tiger. You have to defeat Ted, and it's gotta be before this part right here, this 10 a.m. part. So basically, any of these portions of the game, like any of these portions up to this time where you give Katie Zombrex, you can find Ted and Snowflake in the Yucatan Casino. You have to defeat Ted, and then for Snowflake, you have to give her 3 pieces of steak. So there's some hidden around in that area, or you can go to another area like the food court and grab some. And what you do is you press down on the D-pad to put a piece of steak down, and then you press a triangle button like you're calling to a survivor, and what'll happen is that Snowflake will come to where you called her. So if you call her right on top of a piece of steak, she'll walk right to the piece of steak and eat it. You give her 3 pieces of steak, and you will tame her, and you'll get a trophy or achievement for that. And then from then, Snowflake the Tiger becomes a survivor. You can take her back to the safe room. Once you take her back to the safe room, you just, you approach her. She's like right next to Katie. You approach her and press the circle button, and you'll give Snowflake to Katie as a gift, which also goes towards another achievement. So that's going to be the stream today. Thank you very much for dropping by. Sorry again for the crash, but I can't really help it. Whoever ported this over to PS4 didn't really iron out all the kinks, I guess. So, unfortunately, getting this on YouTube might take a little longer. But yeah, thank you so much for dropping by. I really appreciate it. Just talking, chilling, hanging out. And we'll be back tomorrow, probably around 1 or 2 o'clock Eastern PM, rather in the afternoon. So, yeah, thanks again.